I have a little plan for saving the world. I don't know about you, but I've never saved the world before, but it sounds kind of epic and badass, and I'd like to try it. However, before we can save the world together, I have to tell you a story. It's a true story, and it begins in my kitchen in Chicago in the summer of 2008. I had just bought this, a flip video camera. I'm about to make my very first YouTube video. I've decided it's going to be called 17 Things I Made. And so I just go around my house filming random things I made. I made this bed. I made this sandwich. I made this child. I made this book. I made this mess. But then I thought, who really cares about 17 things that I made? What's way more interesting is the idea of making an 18th thing together with the universe. So at the end of the video, I invite the viewer, the universe, to come meet me at my favorite park in Chicago on 8/08/08 at 8:08 p.m. Easy enough to remember. And I say, I'll be the one holding a yellow umbrella. Now, who knew if anyone would actually show up? After all, that's a pretty vague invitation. Come join me, we'll make a cool thing together. But it was an experiment, an offering, a gesture that was equal parts whim and earnest sincerity. Here's what happened.
It all started in June of 2008 with Amy's 2-minute film entitled 17 Things I Made, which she put up on YouTube.
17 things I made.
At the end of the film, Amy invited her viewers to come join her in making a cool 18th thing together. The meeting place? The Bean Sculpture at Millennium Park in Chicago. The date? 8/08/08 at 8:08 p.m. She had no idea how many people would come, if anyone would come. But if they did, how would they know her? She'd be the one holding the yellow umbrella. This is what happened. Turns out many people were there. Hundreds of people even. No one knew exactly what they were there for, but with the light fading fast, Amy assembled the growing crowd in a corner and started handing out tasks.
I'm going to talk as loud as I can. There are about 10 times more people than I thought were going to come.
Amy asked for volunteers for each section. There were plenty to go around, and when all had been explained, the goal was set to finish everything in less than an hour. It was then time to get started.
Make a grand entrance. Make a friend. Make do with what you have. Make someone's day. Make music. Make a splash.
So that's what a few hundred strangers made together one summer night. But our story doesn't end here. Somewhere along the way, it became clear that there was one more big and lovely thing beckoning to be made.
Make a movie.
Yes, we're going to make the very first movie of its kind. a movie made by collaborating with the universe, a movie made up of all the wonderful things you are out there making. Music, short films and videos, art, true stories, made-up stories, poems, lists, monologues, photographs, sandcastles, whatever it is you're making, if it's lovely, send it to us.
Make the most of your time here.
Now, these people did not know each other. They were merely fellow beckoners. Were they there to beckon power, beckon fame, beckon answers? No. They were there to simply beckon and share lovely. And as it turns out, that is more than enough in common to be connected. The minute this video went up on YouTube, the lovely submissions began to pour in from all over the world and people of all ages. So many lovely things, like photographs, a flower spotted in an alley, a boy named Beck Lovely, this anecdote, yo-yos made of tree and rings made of grass, and a scarf to wrap around the world. From here, the Beckoning of Lovely began to evolve organically. We invited people to be part of it in various ways. There were folks who volunteered to help judge and curate the hundreds and hundreds of lovely submissions. There were people who were appointed ambassadors of lovely. In exchange for just being nice, they got this doggy tag. Here are 4 of our ambassadors hard at work. A year later, the date of 9/09/09 was approaching. I wasn't planning on doing anything. I had never thought of that first gathering as a catalyst for annual happenings. But at the very last minute, I decided to quietly return to the Bean as a tribute to the magic that had transpired there the year before. Filmmaker Steve Delahoyd, musician Nick Gage, and I arrived unannounced and simply gave away lovely, like basil from my garden, origami birds for good luck, free money, and via my iPod, a moment of peace.
Sparrows sing to me the song I heard last spring.
After 9/09/09, it became clear that these once-in-a-lifetime dates were kind of awesome and something I should pay attention to and follow. So once again, we invited the universe to a gathering on 10/10/10 at 10:10 p.m. Highlights from that night include, remember the guy who was instructed to give flowers to a stranger? Well, we found out his name, tracked him down, flew him across the country, so this time strangers could surprise him with flowers and hugs. We collectively jumped for joy. And we concluded with a groovy spaceman who dispensed bubbles while a string quartet played Vivaldi, like this. And then, last fall, our very last gathering. The theme of 11-11-11 was, fittingly, we are all one. At the end of the gathering, I told everyone that the time had come for me to hand the Beckoning of Lovely over to the universe, and that I would even be leaving my yellow umbrella behind. So after everyone left, I kissed it and then tucked it away in the bushes near the bean. This was also the day that we finally launched the feature-length film showcasing the best of the lovely submissions people had sent in. So it was a big day, a finale, and I thought it would all end there. But a couple unexpected things happened. 5 days after launching the feature film online, I pulled it down. Despite years of work and my absolute best efforts, I felt it wasn't the glorious thing I dreamed it would be. This still feels like my greatest professional failure, and for a while I couldn't talk about it without crying. I felt I had let everyone down, especially the folks whose winning lovely submissions deserved to be showcased as I had promised all along. Another unexpected thing was being asked to come here and talk about all this, so of course that got me thinking. And then recently, a third unexpected thing, and that was receiving this. An amazing letter from the person who looked for and found the yellow umbrella that day. She waited almost a year to contact me. Her name is Angela, which is perfect, because I now see her as the project's guardian angel. So that brings us pretty much to present time and to part 2 of this talk, saving the world. So, as you know, according to the Mayan calendar, the world may be ending soon, December 21st to be exact. Now, okay, while I realize most people don't believe this, there are plenty of folks who are taking the end of the world prediction rather seriously. So just to be on the safe side, it seems to me there is only one logical approach. We, all of us together, beckon and harness enough lovely to save the world. Worst case scenario, it turns out the world was not in jeopardy of ending, but we filled it with lots of lovely anyway. Actually, the worst case scenario is the world does end. But at least it ends on a relatively loving note. Either way, I think we can all agree, thanks to the daily news, we are up to our eyeballs in ugly with a capital UG. Enough already, let's bring on the lovely. So how and when are we gonna do this? I've actually got it all figured out and it's super easy. Let's start with the when. I made us a schedule. 12/21/12 is our deadline, so to speak. Now, using your beckoning of lovely mindset, can you guess the date we kick things off? Yeah, okay. This gives us a solid 10 days for filling the world with lovely. And check it out, if we rearrange the exact same letters, voila. That was a fun discovery. Okay, so next detail. How are we possibly going to beckon lovely around the world and get the message to stick? With these. That's right, stickies, Post-its. A, everyone has them. B, they're ideal for conveying short messages. And C, they're yellow. By the way, did you know that yellow is the color of optimism, wisdom, and a positive future? Anyway, take your Post-it and just write, please beckon lovely. Maybe doodle an umbrella. Add our call to action dates. And stick. Stick them anywhere. On the subway. On ATM machines. On a tree. Inside bills. By your favorite landmark. And as a reminder to yourself, why not stick one on your mirror, computer, car, fridge. If you'd like, take a photo and share it on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag #BeckonLovely. I asked a few Beckoning of Lovely folks to ceremoniously kick things off for us. So here is Flower Boy Quinn, who is now in the Peace Corps in Africa. Moment of Peace Scott, with the love of his life. Author and great friend of the project, John Green. And fellow TEDsters in Canada, California, Brazil, Dubai, and TED headquarters in New York City. And finally, looking out for us all, Guardian Angel Angela with the yellow umbrella. Now, why do I think this will work? Because I see that the philosophers, poets, and scientists alike keep returning to the same refrain. What you seek, you will find. And what you summon will find you. So these flimsy little pieces of paper actually have the power to manifest lovely in countless ways. Some of us will say more lovely things, some of us will do more lovely things, some of us will create more lovely things. Some might have a sudden awareness of what is unlovely and let go of it. Some might choose to have a public gathering in the name of lovely. Some might even alter the course of their life in a decidedly more lovely direction. And some might just make a really lovely dinner. See, the phrase beckon lovely is vague and specific at the same time. When the words please beckon lovely are whispered in your ear, I think you know exactly what you most urgently need to tend to and bring forth. And whether you put in 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour, or 1 minute, it's all good. This is a collective endeavor. But we must do it now. There won't be a 13-13-13. Before I go, I want you to know something. When I first invited people to meet me on 80808, I didn't even own a yellow umbrella. I also want you to know that there is symmetry. From a failed attempt at the proverbial Hollywood red carpet to this beloved TED red carpet. From an 18 thing in Chicago to 18 minutes here at TEDxSMU on my son's 18th birthday. I also want you to know that there is closure. As of today, all the winning Beckoning of Lovely submissions are posted at thebeckoningoflovely.com, finally giving them the spotlight they deserve. I'm now thinking that the Beckoning of Lovely was never supposed to be about me creating a movie, but rather all of us together creating a movement. And before we all go, I just want to say that I can't think of a better way to make the most of our time here than by 10 days of beckoning lovely and saving the world. Thank you.